This is Optimal Living Daily, Episode 0.
Get ready to maximize your potential with Optimal Living Daily, the podcast that brings you the best in personal development and productivity every day of the week. Your optimal life awaits. Now here's your host, Justin Malik.
Welcome to Optimal Living Daily. This is the first episode, but it's called Episode 0 because it's not like the other episodes. This is like the About Me page that you'll find on blogs and websites. So if you're looking for actual content for this show, you can start with Episode 1. But if you want to learn more about Optimal Living Daily and who I am, then awesome, you're in the right place. So first, thank you for checking out this podcast and this episode specifically to learn more about Optimal Living Daily. A special thanks to you if you've subscribed to the show, and if not, please do. It should only take a few seconds, and I think you'll be pleased with what we're providing for you. So I'm just going to jump right in and tell you about the show. Optimal Living Daily, it hopefully tells you what this is all about right in the title. It's helping you optimize your life every day of the week. So every single day, I'm going to read to you, and this is what makes this podcast different from probably every other podcast you've listened to. I'm going to read the best content I've come across on optimizing your life, productivity, happiness, minimalism, you name it. The stuff that really matters the most in this world and that I think you're going to benefit from. The best part is that these will be quick episodes, so you can actually listen to this daily. One thing that's really bugged me about podcasts lately is that they're so long, and if they're daily shows, you have to commit so much time to listen to one, if not, multiple podcasts. I'm looking to fix that, but also bring you content in an easier format to consume that you'd normally have to spend more time consuming. So instead of sitting down, finding your favorite blog and reading it, I'll read it to you, and you can listen at your leisure. When you're just waking up, when you're commuting to work, when you're doing the dishes, working out, even before going to bed. The goal is for each episode to be a quick way to continue improving your own life. So that's what this podcast is all about. In the future, with your support, I'd like to have more and more authors and bloggers read on this show, maybe some bigger blogs, some smaller ones, pretty much anything that improves your and my life. So if you have a specific blog that you really wish I would read here on the show, just write a tweet to me and mention both me and the author in it so that we'll see it and we can connect and try to get that content on the show for you. My Twitter handle is Old Podcast. That's OLD Podcast, which stands for Optimal Living Daily Podcast. And on that note, quickly about me, I want to make this pretty quick because that's a big theme of this podcast. Plus, I don't really like talking about myself. So I'm Justin Malik, and I define myself as a lifelong learner and entrepreneur. I left my corporate life in 2012 to work on an app development company full-time, which I started with a good friend from business school, Lee Rankinen. What's up, Lee? So I worked on that business full-time for a few years, and while it still supports my salary and my ability to not go back to work for someone else, I've been struggling to stay motivated because I'm not truly passionate about it. And working from home has actually isolated me a lot too. So one thing I've struggled with on and off since forever is social anxiety. And my first memory of it is freaking out for the Cub Scouts initiation. So this has been in my life pretty much from the start. And I find that it comes and goes. But lately it's been a bit worse, probably because I'm not having the regular practice of interacting with people at work or school or with after work activities and stuff like that. So throughout my life, I've always looked for ways to improve myself there. And my passions really are with things that have positive impacts on my life, that help with the social anxiety or just things in general with my life. And that could be anything from productivity to meditation, minimalism, even lucid dreaming, basic financial hacks or small life hacks in general, all that kind of stuff, as opposed to developing apps. And one of my favorite memories from college is going to the Shambhala Mountain Center in the Rocky Mountains to learn about meditation and Tibetan Buddhism. And ever since then, I've always found meditation to be fascinating and even life-changing. I went back 4 years later to volunteer there, which for me is a big deal since I generally don't do things like that. But anyway, I'm more of a jack-of-all-trades kind of person, so I like to know a good amount of a wide variety of things. And I guess that's where the idea of this podcast stems from. I was talking with my business partner, Lee, and we debated starting a blog about this kind of stuff because we're both really into it. But coming up with new and fresh content daily that's like really entertaining would be difficult for us because honestly, I feel like the content that's already out there is already great. and we wouldn't necessarily be adding a ton of value to it. At the same time, I was struggling to keep up with blogs because of the time commitment to sit down and read them. So I was finding myself listening to podcasts instead because I could listen while I was driving, and the same is true for Lee. When he's out walking the dog or doing other things, he's listening to podcasts, not reading blogs. But the podcasts we listen to are mostly interview-based and almost always 30 minutes to 2 hours long with only a few takeaways. There's just so much wasted time, in my opinion, and that turned into a conversation about, why not just read this content? And it's a way for me to face my social anxiety fears in a nice small way, to take baby steps towards talking more, getting used to hearing my own voice, and getting more comfortable with that. And it's like a nice fix. I now am forcing myself to read these blogs that I would love to read in my spare time. So hopefully it's helping you also by bringing you content in a more friendly and efficient form, but also helping me suffer less, really. So to wrap up, this show is about bringing you the best practical content in the best practical way. The vision is to improve your life one day at a time, and mine as well. I'd love to read more authors on this show, so again, if you have a favorite blog that you'd like to hear on this show, tweet me at oldpodcast, and also mention the author's Twitter handle so we can connect. You can also reach out to me via our website, optimallivingdaily.com, or if that's too long to remember, just go to oldpodcast.com. And please do visit there and join the newsletter, which, like this show, is very brief and just a little nugget of wisdom for you. It's basically a bullet point list of things that can help you improve your life, including some nice tips and other great finds. So definitely join that. And plus, Lee and I will be giving a gift to you for subscribing to that newsletter. So definitely check that out. Just go to oldpodcast.com. And last, I'd love your feedback about the show. Please keep in mind that I'm hoping to improve my voice and being comfortable doing this. So this is probably the worst it's going to get, or I hope so. Should get better with time. But if you have feedback on the content or anything else, just reach out via Twitter or the website. And if you have something nice to say, I'd appreciate a rating and review of this show. It should only take a minute, and a nice review goes a very long way in the world of podcasting. So that'd be awesome. And with that, I hope you enjoy the show. Your optimal life awaits.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode, and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift, as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.